Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our weekly episode of the Sports Show Preview. It's your boys back at it again, Wajid and Hanif. Hanif, how are you doing?
I'm all right. It's results and preview, but yeah.
I said it's back with your weekly show. That's what I said.
Don't worry about it. Go on, carry on.
We are joined by the host of the Loudmouth Show, friend of the show, Uday. Nice to have you back. Uday, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Wajid.
No, thank you very much for being with us today. Let's get into the last fixture of the game. As we speak right now, Liverpool will be playing Leicester in around 15 to 20 minutes. Liverpool utterly decimated with injuries. We have our resident Liverpool fan today. I'm going to get straight to it.
Right.
There is no sort of back four for Liverpool at all. I think Robertson's back, isn't he?
He's back, yeah.
Robertson's passed the fitness test, but Gomez long term out. Van Dijk we already knew about. Matip you can't really trust with his fitness record. Reece Williams got injured during midweek.
So he's not injured. He's actually down with COVID.
Is it COVID?
Yeah.
All right, because he picked up a knock in under 23s during the middle of the week as well. He picked up a hip injury. There's two more injuries in the under 23 side. I'm not sure about Trent's current.
So Trent, obviously, he'll be back. He'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks. So we're not certain.
So you literally have Robertson and possibly Matip and whatever makeup. How worried are you?
Right. I'm not really worried, Wajid, because we've seen in the past few matches that we played with Nat Phillips and we played with Reece Williams, who's out at the moment. But we've got Fabinho, who's back from after the Chelsea game. And I think as a centre-half, he's a good stopper of the ball. I mean, a person like Vardy, I think he'll be focused on Vardy itself. And we have Harvey Barnes and we have James Maddison on the other side. James Maddison, I'm not really sure what he can do because he's been starting as a substitute. I think this is one of the few games that he started in the starting 11 this season.
Yeah,
so I'm not really... It can go either way, man. Like it's an equal game, to be honest. And I'm expecting Leicester to come on top initially, and maybe Liverpool, just draw or score a goal or more. But that is entirely dependent on the tempo, whichever side picks up.
So I predicted last week that, and in fairness, and yesterday's show, I thought Leicester will probably. This will be the first time a team goes at Liverpool's back four, given the injuries, and I think Leicester, the sort of first team that you played recently that have the pace to exploit Liverpool. Even when you talk about Europe and Champions League, Atalanta sort of tried, but it's still a little bit slower within the Champions League. It's still very much pick your passes.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. I think Leicester...
I think we cannot compare Atalanta with Premier League teams at all.
No, that's true. And I think especially with Jamie Vardy, specifically, you have probably the most direct striker in the Premier League. I think...
I'm sorry I'm interrupting again.
No, it's fine.
But I think, again, he's the best right now in terms of occupying that mid-space, and he just takes off. He knows when the ball is going to come to him. And actually, they're actually focusing entirely on Jamie Vardy, if you see Leicester's setup. If you see other teams, they don't like Tottenham, suppose. They have a world-class striker in the form of Harry Kane, but they don't really focus on him. They focus on Son. And if you see in the last match against City, he actually came in deep. I've actually had this conversation with Hanif as well. He came in deep. He let Son take the call. He drew the City press on a high line, and Son went ahead with one-on-one. I think it was Laporte, if I'm not wrong. So
I think so. Yeah.
What I mean to say is, Vardy is actually lethal. He's one of the best at the moment, and I don't think there's any doubt that we should see him scoring tonight. That is an obvious thing. Looking at the form Leicester's carrying, looking at the form Vardy's carrying, he should score tonight, I think.
Hanif, where do you think the keys to the game are today?
I think the key to the game is the midfield. As always, whoever wins the midfield battle, Liverpool's got... They've got a team that's... I think they're going to roll the sleeves up and work. Wijnaldum will be leading, and the back four I've got no problem with. I've already told you there, Milner will slot in. He can do a job, and the rest of them, no problem. It's a back four. There's only one player that's coming in. So defensively, I don't think Liverpool can argue with what they
But
put out there.
don't you think Curtis Jones is a problem for the team? He's not really been up to the mark, like in terms of creativity. He's not been really there. But if we talk about team coordination again, I wouldn't want to compare him what he played for Liverpool against Atalanta, as Wajid said. But don't you
Yeah, but
think? What is your comment on Curtis?
it's not about that though. It's this game is going to come down to who wants it more. It's about hard work. You look at your midfield. None of your midfielders are creative players. They're there to work, and it's a functional midfield.
I'm just
They're
talking
going to
about
be
Curtis
relying
Jones in
on
specific.
Robertson. Yeah, I know. I've not seen much of Jones, but you've got to give the kid. You've got to give him a run out, because if you don't give him 10 to 15 games, then it's easy to say a player's not playing well or when they don't get enough time. But what if he shines today? Then you'll be like, oh, Klopp masterstroke. But
No,
this is
I don't
this
think, because he
opportunity.
needs to perform consistently. And I'm not asking too much from him. I just want him to perform well in 4 or 5 matches, man, that he's getting to play. But he's not really up to the mark, in my opinion.
The thing is, obviously, you're going to compare him against your first teamers, but you need to give him time. That's what it comes down to. How much time did Trent and Robertson get? They got a lot of time under Klopp, a lot of time. So you have to give the kids a chance. Now is the time to shine. It's a functional midfield, and if he works hard today and he breaks up play, then I think he'll do well. I think that's what Liverpool are going to do today. They're going to be relying on the left-hand side of Robertson, and they're going to hope that their front three can come up with magic. But I think Liverpool will edge it just. I think it's going to be 2-1 or 3-2. They're just going to edge it for me. I think the team's fine.
There, what score prediction?
I'll go with a 2-all, man.
1-1. Yeah.
Uday,
Yeah.
what did I tell you about Thiago?
I knew you'd get that up. I knew you'd bring it up.
Where's Thiago there? Where is he?
You're right.
Where is he?
He's not there.
I told you he's injury prone, bro. He's injury prone. He always has
Totally.
been. He's injury prone, man. I'm not
Again,
surprised.
man, I'd like to bring this up. You're right. But before 2017, for 8 years, he was entirely fit. And I think the major injury which he really went through was in 2009. I don't really remember what he went through, but again, he went through a spinal injury last year. And other than that, he's just had muscle reflux issues, bro. He's barely been out for 2 to 3 weeks, which I think mostly players nowadays are out, man. Looking at the schedules that they've been putting up, but you're right on point with the fact that okay, he's injury prone since the past 2-3 seasons. I'd agree on that. Totally.
He's
No, I
not
remember
going to give you 20 league games.
I remember his first season at Bayern. He struggled with fitness as well. Like that first season or two, he really, really struggled. I think he only played like 15 games that season because he was in and out. But last couple of seasons, he was ridiculously fit. I mean, no one doubts his quality. The problem is, as Liverpool finding out, getting him on the pitch. Because when he's there, like he's in, he has help. He finds the pocket of space. He can distribute the ball well. He has his time. It's getting him on the pitch.
You're on point, man. But I think we should all agree on the fact that we haven't really seen him playing for Liverpool in a proper against a team with 11 players. We've seen him playing against Chelsea with a 10-man team.
And that was for 45 minutes as well, wasn't it?
Exactly. And he played really well, but then that was against a 10-man team. So I don't really consider the Thiago that we saw in that game to be there. But maybe if he shows the same thing, then I'll be totally impressed by what he can do.
Let's move on to the fixture that's just finished. It was at Ellen Road. It finished 0-0, but I think Leeds will be going away going, how did they not win the game? Rodrigo hit the post twice. Rafinha hit the post in the 93rd minute. Alowski was incredibly poor with distribution in the final third. Bamford missed a snapshot. They had 1 or 2 more chances to close the half. Arsenal did play with 10 men for the majority of the second half as Pepe was sent off for a headbutt to Alioski. They did have a chance right at the end where Hector Bellerin charged through, beautiful pass to Saka. he sent him through. He couldn't get around the keeper, and it was a good save. Hanif, I'll start with you. How lucky were Arsenal to get a point?
Yeah. If you don't have quality, if you don't have a quality finish, then that's what happens. You're right, Saif. We're just talking about the Arsenal game. If you don't have a quality striker who's going to put the ball away, Leeds had so many opportunities even before Pepe got sent off. And unfortunately for them, when I was watching the game, I think if Ober was behind some of them, I think they would have gone into the back of the net. They played well. They huffed and puffed. But if you can't beat Arsenal when they're at their weakest or when they're down to 10 men, and I've said this many times before, it's gonna be 12th and below. That's where they're gonna finish, and that's not a knock against them. That's just where they are. That's how good they are with what they've got. But they should have won today. They easily should have won today. But if you don't put your chances away, this is the Premier League. You suffer. So they're gonna go home tonight. And the only good thing they did was Pepe got sent off. But apart from that, they couldn't capitalize on having one-man advantage. Apart from that, I thought they played well. They were fantastic. It took them about 10-15 minutes to get going, which was a bit of a surprise. But once they got going, you knew that it was a bit. They're a bit like City to a certain degree. They just weren't clinical, and unfortunately, if you're not clinical, I thought Arsenal were going to nick it. I thought Arsenal were going to win 1-0, but 0-0. Arteta will be happy.
Saif, I'll move to you. Thanks for being with us today. What did you make of the Leeds Arsenal result? I said that Leeds will be feeling incredibly hard done by that. They couldn't finish the chances or get the win. Obviously, you've heard what Hanif said. How about yourself?
I didn't see the whole game, to be honest. I saw maybe about till 70 minutes, but I thought Leeds were dominant and a little unlucky. And Arsenal, I don't know. I think they didn't just turn up today. And I think Spurs are going to appeal Pepe's red card because, come on, we need that guy in the North London derby.
You mean you said Spurs are going to appeal the red cards?
Yeah, we are going to appeal that.
So, he was all right today.
Yeah, we need him.
Oh dear. Uday, what about you?
My thing is that I had a problem with that red handball fiasco, man. I think that should have been a penalty because given that what happened with United in that game, they were given a penalty. Why not Arsenal, man? Why is VAR so unfair with Arsenal? You tell me that. That is, I'm not really pointing fingers at. I'm not pointing fingers at United, but I'm just telling you for a fact that was a penalty, and it was as easy as that. As a neutralist, I felt that was a bit harsh. But apart from that, I was pretty impressed with the 10-man Arsenal doing better than an 11-man Arsenal that we saw in the first half. I thought off the break, the second half was better for Arsenal because Saka and Aubameyang were actually connecting well. And apart from that, I think that other guy, I forgot his name, man. Willock was taken off, right? Willock and Willian, they were taken off. And who got in? The other guy? Reece Nelson. He was superb, I thought. He was amazing. He came in with he was full of energy. He was pacing down the flanks. He was all over the pitch, trying really hard. And I think Arsenal also missed on 2 or 3 key chances they could have capitalized on. But it was mostly a Leeds show in terms of the ball. The quality in the final third and the first half completely sucked for Leeds. They were good with build-ups. They were pretty good with build-ups in the first half too. And in the second half too, they were good. But I don't expect much from Leeds, man, when it comes to goal scoring opportunities. I've already spoken to Hanif about this, and he in fact agreed with me on this that Bamford, for a fact, he scores goals, but he needs more opportunities like Gabriel maybe needs, to score those goals. And we saw that today as well. He had 2-3 opportunities to score, but he couldn't.
I mean,
I'm pretty happy with the way Leeds are playing at the moment, to be honest.
I mean, you say that, but he has got 7 goals in 8 games, so it's not
True.
It's not bad. Albeit one is a hat trick.
So the reason why I say that was just because he got 3 opportunities in that game. He scored a hat trick off, and he got those 3 goals that happened in the second half. those 3 goals that he got were after the 3 chances he got. So I don't think he could have scored more goals easily, because the way Leeds were actually building up is pretty flawless. They're very sublime. And I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. Arsenal, I think the only weak link was Nicolas Pepe, because he wasn't tracking back. He wasn't supporting Hector Bellerin at the right flank. Apart from that, I don't think there was any problem, to be honest, because I liked the way Bilok was playing in the first 15 minutes. Even Danny Ceballos, for that matter, he was actually trying to get ahead. I don't know if you've seen that, but first 15 minutes, he was very impressive. And Xhaka was nowhere to be seen in the first half, to be honest. Xhaka was actually just tracking back, trying to defend with other defenders, is what I felt.
Xhaka they were getting so overrun on the left-hand side by Dallas and Alioski. Like you said, Pepe wasn't tracking back. So it was constantly 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Like everything came from Leeds' left-hand side. And
I just want to put one more point, man.
No.
I disagree with the fact that you spoke about Alioski not doing well. He's a fullback, and I think he made 20-25 runs, man, down the flank, and he was actually trying to help Harrison off.
But if you look at if you looked at his crossing and his distribution, in the final third, I know Leeds created 25 chances or whatever it is, but aside from the ball he laid off to Rafinha, who was Rafinha or Costa, the one where he struck it with his left?
Rafinha.
Was Rafinha. He struck it with his left and just missed the post. If you look at his crossing for the majority of the game, it was really poor. And
it was poor.
And unfortunately, I know what you're saying, he was helping Harrison and stuff, but the modern day fullback, which is why going to United, Luke Shaw gets, and Wan-Bissaka gets so much, problems from United fans in terms of an attacking sense, is the modern day fullback is, unfortunately, the modern day fullback is required to play in a good attacking ball. Like that's the game, and that's why I say Alioski, cool. You can make the runs all you like, but if you're going to get to the edge of the box and then overhit 9 of your 10 crosses, then it's not the greatest in the run. You've done 80% of the task. The final 20% to create the chance, that's what you need, though, isn't it?
So you're absolutely right with that, but I don't expect much from him again, because I spoke about Leeds coming from the championship, right? So we don't really expect much from a championship team, to be honest, in the first season itself. But look at what Sheffield did. Look at them now. Even today, they were pathetic. I felt, no, they weren't pathetic. They tried really hard in the first half, but they couldn't really fizzle out. They weren't really there in the match. In the second half, I felt they were intercepting well.
That's the best I've seen Sheffield all season, and they're still pretty poor.
I think taking out Ryan Brewster out of the team was a good decision, because McGoldrick and McBurney had a shot on post, I think. I don't remember, in the second half or something. But Ryan Brewster is not really fitting in the team well, and I think he needs to be benched. And I think Wilder took the right decision there. But as a team, if they need to really size their formation up, man, they're not really working that well in terms of quality. In terms of offensive as well, they're not really good as a team, to be honest.
Hanif, moving on to Arsenal, where do Arsenal go from here?
They just need to regroup, and I don't think they were bad today. They just weren't that good neither. Arteta needs to be questioned in terms of his lineup. Why wasn't Nelson playing? Why wasn't Maitland-Niles playing? Ceballos, first 10 minutes, after that, he's supposed to be creating. He's the one from Real Madrid. He's the runner. I saw Nelson running more than Ceballos did. Willock was okay. Oba was so much better the second half. The link up with Saka was good when he came on. I personally think that they kind of missed the trick. I think they should have stuck with the formation they had. I know Lacazette gets a lot of stick, but I just think that first half, the passing ability by some of the Arsenal players under Arteta is poor compared to the passing ability under Arsene Wenger. And this new era of football is good, but the base, some of the basics are just not there. The tackling ability, some of the tackling today was awful. They weren't even going in. And I just thought, it's like tackling's going out of the game. They're just bumping into each other. It's a bit like FIFA, but where do Arsenal go? It's a very good question. They're a top 8 team, Wajid.
Yeah,
Top 8 team. That's just where they are. If they get top 4, they've overachieved with the team. Arteta needs 3 summer transfer windows more because the team's got so many problems.
They can't be top 4, man. They can't be top 4.
No, I said if they get top 4, they've overachieved. You have to, because it's so tight at the moment. But if he gets them in that top 4, they've overachieved by a country mile.
Saif, well, sorry, no, go on, Uday.
Just one last point. I'm sorry, Saif. So I think we were talking about Arsenal getting a creative mid. I think they need a winger now because I don't see Willian or Pepe really working well for them. I think Willian was good with his pace.
Willian played well today.
Willian was
he was okay.
Willian was okay. I'll be honest.
He was okay. Okay, he only has his paces to show. He wasn't really connecting at all. There was no coordination. There was no cohesion in the game in the first half.
But they paid 72 million for Pepe, and all they get the same from Pepe they get from Willian. I think with Pepe you need to cut your losses.
No, they need more time. He needs more time. He needs to start more.
No. Pepe needs to get out, bro. He's got so much time, Hanif. He's got 2 seasons, man, already.
But he's not playing. I think
give?
this was his second game that he started. He needs time. There's a player there. I
just want to move to Saif quickly because then we'll review Tottenham's win against Man City. It's the North London derby in 2 weeks. Obviously Arsenal play Wolves next week, and then it's the North London derby. How confident are you as a Spurs fan going into the North London derby?
I'm pretty confident right now. Let's see what happens with the game next week against Chelsea. And just one concern is Alderweireld. I think other than that, because I think he's going to be out for like 4 to 6 weeks. So we're going to miss him. So I think that's going to be an issue with our defense slightly. But other than that, I don't really see them. I know they'll defend again. They're going to be playing counter-attacking football. And we'll be playing counter-attacking football. So I don't know how that's going to go. But I'm confident that we have better finishers than them. So I'm expecting a win.
I mean, as we were speaking on Tottenham, yesterday, 2-0 win at the Tottenham Stadium. It was a typical Mourinho-style performance. Get the goal early, sit back, soak the pressure up, and hit on the break. Are you bothered about the way the results are coming, or are you just happy that the results are coming?
I'm happy. I predicted this also on your show that we are going to win this one comfortably. I had no doubt whatsoever. Like, I just knew that we were going to mug them off. And I'm okay with this. I love how Pochettino plays. We played entertaining football, but we didn't achieve anything, right? We have a better chance of achieving something right now. So I'm okay to play boring football. I've been watching entertaining football since 1990. I haven't seen anything happening since that time. So I'm okay if they play boring football and they win us a trophy. I'm good with that.
Hanif, it was 2-0 to the Spurs. You have said numerous times that this could be the season where Spurs are genuine title challengers. You think this is the season where Mourinho once again proves he's not past it? What is the difference of this Mourinho side at Tottenham against what it was at Manchester United?
They believe, and I don't know if Mourinho is going to win the league. I think that's too. I don't think that's the right thing to say at this moment in time. But I do believe they'll win a trophy if they give him 5 years. I really do believe they'll win a trophy under Mourinho, because Mourinho delivers trophies. He's been Manchester United's most successful manager after Sir Alex. What's the difference? He's getting more out of Harry Kane than Pochettino did. Assists. He's changed his position.
7 goals, 9 assists to start the season for Harry Kane.
And I've always said it. You know, if a big club comes for Harry Kane, I don't think Tottenham will say no to 150 million for Harry Kane. But because that's his value, he's the best in the world, or one of the best in the world, one of the best in the league. He's gonna probably score 20 to 25 Premier League goals this season if he stays fit. Who knows how many assists he's going to get alongside that, because him and Son are unstoppable at this moment in time. They probably, I don't know if they're going to play midweek or not, but in terms of Mourinho, he's doing what he did at Chelsea and he's grinding out results against Man City. They defended well. And I've always said this, you have to admire the defending as much as you admire the attacking, because if you don't have both, you don't win games and you don't win championships. The teams that have won the title in the past have always had great defenses. The Chelseas, the Man Cities, the Arsenals, and the Uniteds. So I don't know what Mourinho said to Alderweireld and Vertonghen, but they seem to be playing a lot better this season than when they were.
Vertonghen's at Benfica.
Oh, whoever's next to Alderweireld, then Sanchez, whoever it is.
It's Eric Dyer now.
It's Eric Dyer now.
Dyer, that's it. Yes, Dyer. So they're so much better. They believe, and he's bought well. You can't argue against Mourinho. And look where they are. It's not. They're not there by fluke. They're there because they do the basics right. And Mourinho said it before, and I'll say it again. When you look in the record books, it doesn't matter how you play. It does not matter. It only matters about trophies. And if he gets a trophy, he'll be Tottenham's most successful manager. It doesn't matter about entertaining football. And to be fair, let's be honest, some of it was entertaining. I like watching teams defend deep. I like watching teams countering. Mourinho's not the only manager to do stuff like that, to change it up. We've seen Klopp do it. So, yeah, he's doing what he does best, and he's doing what he knows, and it's working. So, good luck to them. Not next week, obviously, because I think we're going to batter them. But we just need to keep an eye on Harry Kane and Son. Apart from that, I believe the Chelsea team is playing a lot better, but it depends if we can stop Kane and Son.
There, as your focus turns to the Liverpool-Leicester game, which is now 5 minutes in, do you think
the game has actually started?
So yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. It was 5 minutes in.
Yeah, true. But I'd like to comment on Tottenham, man. I think they've proven me wrong, because I thought City will win that match, to be honest.
To be honest, I also thought City were going to win the game. I trusted City's defense more than I trusted Tottenham's. I was wrong. I was massively wrong.
That's fair, but I had the same notion. But they proved me wrong, man. And to be honest, I didn't think after the first half. I thought a couple of 2 or 3 goals will definitely come from Jesus and De Bruyne. But to be honest, they really fizzled out. I'll tell you why. Because it's all because of Højbjerg and because of the Alderweireld and the fullbacks, man. They were really on point. I don't think Aurier was that good, but I thought Reguilón was the major key factor for Tottenham, and even Bergwijn, he's doing really well in terms of marking them, because they were lying deep throughout the game. 70%, 80% of the game they played deep. Rest they were just counter-attacking. So the only problem I have with Mourinho is parking the bus, which he always has done. And I'm not really a good receptor of that. I don't appreciate such football, to be honest, because I've never seen that. Again, Hanif spoke about how Klopp has played counter-attacking, but we never parked the bus. Only against Ajax we had to park the bus, because they were, how Ajax were playing. So I think. So yeah, man, I think well-deserved victory. But again, I'm not a fan of the way Mourinho plays, but well-deserved. And Tottenham definitely can win the trophy if they keep on playing this way. And if they don't have players getting injured throughout. So I think this will be the first trophy they get in a long, long time.
Just remember, if you don't score, if you don't concede, you don't lose. It's as simple as that. That's Mourinho's tactic. So, and that's what it comes down to. City are going to go buy in January because they're just not clinical. They can't finish their dinner, and that's what it comes down to. And that's what it comes down to. Mourinho, if Mourinho keeps winning games 1-0, he'll take that.
You do actually.
But Wajid, I'm really impressed with Ferran Torres, man, for a change. I never expected Ferran Torres to step up this way. He's being trusted on, and he's really doing well. I think he's doing better than Bernardo Silva as well. Bernardo Silva as well, he falls in deep. He goes behind nowadays, because obviously he was playing behind him, but again, they didn't work well together in a duo.
Bernardo Silva's really struggling this season. He's not getting the same footholds in games, I think. In fairness, mostly yesterday, like, apart from De Bruyne, most of the City team weren't great. Yeah, they created a lot of chances. Apart from, obviously, the Jesus handball, Tottenham looked comfortable. Tottenham didn't look like they were on edge at any time. But Hanif keeps on making that point about City, probably more than likely going in January to buy. So I'm gonna put it to you guys then. Who do City buy in January potentially? Anyone?
Pep.
Yeah, so you're Pep. You need to go out and buy a striker because Aguero's fitness. Jesus isn't doing it. Who'd you go out and buy in January?
I don't think he'll go for Haaland because he's not that kind of a player who fits into City system.
Haaland,
He's not that versatile as a number 9. I think he's a good finisher. I think I think Adwait had mentioned this. He'll go for someone like Joao Felix. Is what I feel.
Joao Felix, did you say?
Yeah.
So
someone like him, someone who's actually versatile like him, who can play on the wing and as a centre.
Yeah, but you're not going to get anyone in Jan. Like Atletico's not going to release Felix in the middle of the season. Why would they do that? How much ever money you put in? Because
you will if you pay the money. You will if you pay the money.
I think his release.
You will if you pay the money.
I think his release clause is astronomical anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to manage that. And they've got to save money for Messi for next year. So they aren't going to go crazy.
Won't Messi be a free transfer?
They've got a lot of money, man.
Sorry?
Messi will be a free transfer, won't he? Because this is the last
Messi will be free, but... Yeah, but the wages are going to be astronomical on that. So he's going to end up paying 100 million, close to that.
But would you not pay anything for Lionel Messi?
Yeah, he's not going to pay anything, but he's going to pay the 100 million. Yeah,
no, that's why I meant.
Because he'll just have to...
No, my point was, would you not pay whatever it takes for Lionel Messi in terms of his wage?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, that he can just sell a few more barrels of oil and he's got the money. So, okay. I mean, I guess OPEC will just have to sell some more oil. That's all that's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, just to
clarify. You need to take this into consideration, man, that Messi is not really performing well at the moment in Barcelona like the way he was, probably because he's aging too much. But he really needs a change. And in terms of getting to City, I don't even know if he'll work well for City. But definitely, I think Ronaldo will turn out to be better than Messi.
But don't you think his morale? Don't you think his morale, Uday? Don't you think his morale is playing a part in that? Because he's not happy right now at all at Barcelona. So I mean, that does affect your performance.
True.
They should sell.
I'd agree with that.
They should sell and make money on him. That's what I would do if I was an owner.
And Messi, sorry.
Yeah, I think Barcelona needs the money. Maybe even just sell him for 50 million in the summer.
Sell him.
Not even in the summer, in Jan. You sell him.
Sell him in January, 50 million.
Yeah.
I'd love if Chelsea got Messi.
But I mean,
that's not gonna happen.
They could have sold him in the summer. But obviously they made the point that whoever buys him is going to buy his release, has to pay his release clause, which is, I think, was it 600 million or something stupid. So Barcelona made their point. He's in the last 6 months of his contract. There's no talk of a contract extension. He's free to talk to anyone in January anyway. I think so. Even if Barcelona don't want to sell, Barcelona will never sell. And to be honest, I think with his relationship with Barcelona, I think he'll, as much as he doesn't want to go, because he's Barcelona through and through, just for the
But from what I'm hearing, they're really cash strapped. They're on the verge of bankruptcy. So
but they've got Dembele, Griezmann, Coutinho. They'll get rid of all those first before anything else.
But Messi's gonna go, so you may as well make some money. There's no way of keeping him for another 6 months. So you may as well just dump the guy.
Then do you want to give us an update on what's just happened in the Liverpool Leicester game?
Dude, fuck man, Jota took a shot on target and Kasper Schmeichel just saved that. So, and Mane took a shot on target as well. And Leicester been building up well on a counter, but they're not reaching till the opposition's box. So yeah.
So as we just finished up with the potential Man City signings in the summer and with Lionel Messi, let's move on to the evening kickoff from yesterday. Manchester United did beat West Brom for their first win of the season at Old Trafford, 1-0. That was what I watched the game live in the evening. It was a very, very, very poor performance by United. They got the win. I guess that's the main thing. It was a penalty by Bruno Fernandes. I think I was the only person that did say that United would win last week. But in fairness, they got very, very lucky. Hanif, what did you make of the game?
So United were all there for the first 10-15 minutes. After that, they can't, and I don't blame Ollie for this. They can't concentrate on keeping the ball and passing the ball around. They don't have the patience of building up and just carry on doing what they were doing for 10-15 minutes. You can't tell me that you play well for the first 10-15 minutes and you can't carry on playing that way. It's for some odd reason they start becoming individuals, and it was slow, it was sloppy, and I don't blame Ollie for that. How could you blame the manager when first 10-15 minutes is going right, and then it starts falling apart? Because let's be honest, apart from those opportunities that Bruno created, United weren't that good. Matic was as bad as everybody else. I thought McTominay should have started. Obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Fred seemed off the pace for whatever reason, and it's probably his first bad game in a while. To be fair, if you look at the game, West Brom deserved at least a point from that game. They should have got at least a point. The penalty decision wasn't great that the referee gave, in my opinion. I don't think he'll be reffing again for a while because he's made two crazy decisions in the space of a month, one for Liverpool and one for United. But United took advantage of the opportunity that was provided to them. I understand why Man United want Ollie to go, but if you're going to get rid of Ollie, you've got to get rid of half that team as well, because they just weren't great. They're just poor. There's no consistency in terms of just keeping the ball. You keep the ball for 10-15 minutes and then you lose it. And then the lack of creativity. And I've always said this, if Bruno doesn't do anything, then you're just carrying him. He's a passenger, and that's what he was for most of that game until the penalty. He was wicked for 10-15 minutes, but after that, I don't think any of them could have. I just thought they were just poor overall, apart from when Van der Beek came on. So at least no one can say Pogba was awful today or awful yesterday. De Gea was all right. Apart from that, nobody else was exactly a shining light for me. Martial played okay, but
he should have scored.
Rashford was poor.
Martial should have scored.
He should have scored, but I just think he needs a few more games.
Just as we speak, Liverpool have gone 1-0 up to a Johnny Evans own goal. Corner whipped in from the right-hand side, and he's buried that beautifully. Any striker would be happy with that header. Saif, why are United so slow in their build-up play? Why is it plodding, methodic? Not even methodic. Why is it slow? There seems to be no movement, as Hanif was saying, unless Bruno's forcing something to create something. There's no creativity. It's like one of them has the ball and expects someone else to do something.
I think it's a similar situation to what Spurs are in, because United are good on the counter. They've got the players to play on the counter. But when you've got to go and win the game on your own, because West Bromwich are not going to come at you.
Nope.
So then they're stuck. There's nothing left to do. The creative players aren't creative enough. The team is not the right fit for a non-counter game. So if you've got so it's slow because basically a lot of them don't know what to do with the ball. Oh, I have the ball. What the hell am I supposed to do now? So he just passes it to wherever the hell he can pass it. So I think I can't blame them because they've been set up for playing the Chelseas and playing the the Arsenal that's going to be counter-attacking, fluid football. And they've been really good at it since post-lockdown. They've been really good at the counter-attack game. But I think that's not been happening. That won't happen with teams like West Brom, Brighton. They play with low block and, 2 blocks of 4 defenders. It's very difficult to break those down. And you've got to, okay, Bruno earned the penalty. So whatever. I mean, whatever it takes to get the 3 points.
Just as we speak, Liverpool have had a goal disallowed for a foul on the keeper. Still 1-0. But as Saif was talking about the penalty, Hanif, I want to ask you. So it was a bit of a crazy 5 minutes where West Brom won a penalty because of a Bruno tackle, had the penalty overturned, and United went up the pitch sort of 2-3 minutes later, and Mata crossed the ball. I believe it hit Barty on the hand, and United were awarded a penalty. I want to talk about the West Brom penalty first before we go to the United penalty. Was it a penalty? Was West Brom's a penalty?
I've seen him given, but it's just so hard. Yeah, kind of. It's difficult. It's difficult. Slow motion is not great at times. But I think the referee made the right decision. I don't think either were penalties personally for me.
But given the way the new handball is now, I mean, in fairness, I thought the penalty was very, very harsh. Anyway, I mean, I'd be unhappy if something like that was given. Are we not just seeing more of the same thing when it comes to the handball and the penalty? As soon as more often than not, when it hits the hand from a distance of 5 yards.
You're not going to see consistency. You're not going to see consistency
But
because
what I'm saying is,
the problem is it depends if the players have been told where to put their arms.
But this is what I'm saying.
It depends on the motion because.
Sorry. Hello. You can hear
Yeah,
me.
listening.
All right. Yeah, I'm saying.
I can hear you.
I'm saying that as soon as the player's hand now seems to leave anywhere out from here onwards, it becomes a handball, which it wasn't before. I'm not saying it was a penalty. I'm not saying it was a penalty because, in fact, like I said, I'd feel very hard done by, given the distance and stuff. But do you really consider that an unnatural position though, when defending up? Where is he supposed to put his hands for defending the ball?
I think this is where the problem lies. Players need to be told where they can put their hands now, because now you think about David Luiz putting his hands behind his back, and it now makes a lot of sense because they don't know what to do with their hands, so they can't say to the referee, "Oh, look, I wasn't intentionally putting my hand there, but my hand's not there. I'm basically holding both of my hands behind my back because you're just going to call handball." They need to change the rules. I would not at grassroots. You'd never give that. You'd never give that at all. And they need to change the rules again. They need to look at distance. They need to look at whether it was deliberate. They need to think about so many scenarios. And I understand why the Premier League referees are giving it. I understand that. It's the way the new rules are written. It is handball, but it's ruining the game. So it'll go against United as well. Eventually, it will go against United. So it'll balance itself out, hopefully, at the end of the season. But it doesn't help West Brom, obviously. But yeah, apart from that, United were poor. I don't even know if Pochettino could do anything better with this team. What's he going to do with them? I don't know. I think when Poch comes in, he's going to want to bring his own players in. If he comes in, I think we've come back from an international break and we're expecting too much from possibly United. Let's see what they like next weekend in the Premier League, where they will hopefully be a lot better and a lot sharper. But
they've got Istanbul midweek for the Champions League, and then they play Southampton next Sunday. I mean, you say that, but I mean, teams like Everton, Liverpool today, they're not struggling with the international break. I just think United are quite a poor side, and I think that's. As soon as United fans accept that, then the sooner things can move on.
United are not. United are. They've got a team to compete with the top four, but that's where United is. United are not the team they used to be. And like Chelsea are not the team they used to be. It's all Man City and Liverpool now. We just have to get used to it. If anybody's going to try and break those two teams, it is Mourinho, because he's the only one that's capable of doing it, because he sets up defenses in a fashion where he won't concede more than one possibly. But the rest of us are just going to have. The rest of us are competing for top four. So yeah, it's disappointing, but United are where United should be. They're not that good. We spent $1 billion. You can't blame. I can't even blame the board. Spent $1 billion, man. You spent a lot of money. Fair enough. You're not about the players that you've got.
That's net.
It is what it is.
That's net.
Okay, net. But you've still spent $1 billion. You've had some really good players come in, and if you keep hiring or firing managers, it's not going to work. I've said it many times. It's not going to work. I'd rather have one manager than have some stability, and let's see where United end at the end of the season.
The issue is not the hiring and firing managers. The issue is we get with a manager. It comes a manager where they see 60% of the process through, and the extra 40%, it's not there. Like Ollie wanted to get rid of a fair amount of players this summer, like I've said before, because of their ridiculous contracts, like Phil Jones on £120,000 a week, as an example, or Luke Shaw being the best paid left back in the world, as an example. That's not happened. He wanted to bring in, everyone knows he wanted to bring in Grealish. That didn't happen. He wanted Sancho. That didn't happen. He wanted a defender. That didn't happen. So I understand. I slightly see your point where you don't blame the board. But if you're not going to back your manager for a second transfer window, right, when you've already made the decision to stick with him, then what's the point of then you're undermining him anyway?
What did David Gill would just pay it? This current board,
but this isn't David Gill. No, but I'm just coming to your point, which is you said the board have backed. I'm just saying, yeah, to 60%.
I'm not backed him. They've backed the club. The board have backed the club. I'm not saying they've backed Ollie, but I'm saying they have backed the club.
The board think about the share dividends and the prices. That's what the
board, I know they do.
That's what the board
obviously it's a business to them. But the thing is this, Wajid, look, United fans, they can go off on one, right? But I bet you most of those players are happy. I bet you Rashford's happy.
No, they probably are.
Martial has. They're happy under Ollie because they're just like, this guy believes in us. So why would you want to get rid of a guy who doesn't believe in you? The problem is, Wajid, the board's not going to go anywhere. The board's going nowhere, and neither is Ed Woodward. But you will probably get a director of football next season.
No, we won't. They won't. It's the same thing. It won't, because it's the same thing over and over again. Ed Woodward is incompetent. There's only about 10 people in the world that can afford to buy Manchester United, even if they did sell anyway. Matt Judge is awful as head of negotiations. They all have a banker's mentality where they think about the share. They think about the share owners rather than the club itself. Like,
you can't say Matt Judge is bad at negotiations, Wajid, because he's got some quality signings in. That'd be that bad. Like Bruno.
They were the only club in for Bruno.
Doesn't matter.
No,
we don't know
that.
How do you know that?
They were the only club in for Bruno. Yes, it was. It was literally national report that they were the only club in for Bruno. They were the only club in for Jadon. Hang on, they were the only club in for Jadon Sancho this summer, right? They couldn't get that over the line. Yeah, and like you can't tell me no one knew. They were literally. It was literally reported everywhere they were the only club in for Jadon Sancho this summer. They couldn't get that over the line.
I'm not talking about Sancho. I'm talking about players that you have acquired.
Yeah, but again,
I'm telling you, players you have acquired.
Right? I know. I'm with Bruno. They were chasing him all the summer before. They didn't get him. They didn't get. Wait, hang on. Martial, everyone thought was the biggest gamble on the planet. They paid $50 million for an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, one of the best prospects in Europe. Yeah,
he wasn't the best. He'd had 3 games at Monaco.
One of the best. Ryan Giggs said it. One of the best prospects. Him and Mbappe were one of the best prospects in Europe. They're one. I'm not saying they're going to become good players.
Okay, Hanif.
But what I'm saying to you is, he's not a failure at his job. Yes, he's not got Jadon Sancho over the line, and he hasn't. But you need to ask yourself, right? How how much more better would United have been with Sancho? I don't know.
I'm not saying they'd be much better with Sancho. My point is, and the point I originally made is, if you're going to stick by your manager, then you back your manager 100%. You don't do 60% and then start thinking about your share prices for the next 40%. That's my original point.
No, but Wajid, they probably had a figure in mind, though, didn't they? The 80 million, I think, was offered to them for Sancho, which is not even worth that.
Well, according to reports, they had a deal in place, and then they've tried to go back and lower the price after they've agreed on the price, and Dortmund weren't having any of it. But I mean, you say that he's great. He's brought in transfers and stuff. He's also the head negotiator for all the contracts. He's the one that gave Phil Jones 120 grand a week.
No, Wajid, but ultimately, it's the manager who decides that, though, doesn't it? I want to keep him. So, right, you're going to have to give him what he wants then.
I mean, I can't blame Ollie. I can't blame Ollie for that. Ollie was interim for 3 weeks and they gave Jones a contract.
Well, Ollie should have stepped up and said, don't give Jones a contract then.
How can he, when he's interim on 3 weeks in the job? Come on, man. What interim manager has power? What are you talking about?
Okay, forget about interim manager. From his performances, do you think he deserved one? Ollie should have stepped up and said, listen, he's not good enough.
And if he's been there for 3 weeks, he doesn't come on. Have you ever walked into a job as an interim and got and been able to decide what can and cannot happen? It doesn't happen.
Football's different. He could have.
Football's not different, man.
A job's a job. He wanted to keep him. He wanted to keep him. Ollie's the one who wanted him anyway. Because he played all right initially.
He played one. I think he played one game.
Can I say something here?
Sorry, yes, sorry, go on. We're ranting.
No worries. The issue about Oli is, I've noticed this. There's no philosophy with Oli. It could be a game. It could be any game on any time. He could play anywhere. Whereas people like Pochettino, even Mourinho, who was with United, there was a way to play. You knew the Mourinho way. You went about it, and you knew that's the philosophy. I don't see any philosophy for Oli. So the players are obviously also confused. What the fuck am I doing today? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? So how do you expect them to perform? I know, granted, all of them are not the best at their jobs, but you've got to have some sort of, some aim. Like, what am I playing today? Like with West Brom, you're confused whether you're attacking or are we giving the ball to them and are we going to counter? What's going to happen? So Oli's not clear on that philosophy. So he's got to implement his own philosophy. If you're giving him time, let him get a philosophy first, because you can't play half the games in another way and half the games in another way, where players get like, what the hell's happening?
I think he's 2 years in the job now, isn't he? Saif after 2 years.
Can you still tell me?
No. I fully agree with you. But after 2 years, we shouldn't be talking about still looking for philosophy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's not the right guy for the job. Get in Pochettino, give him 2-3 years. He's going to play attractive football. He's going to get good players in from Europe, Argentina. Those guys all they love him, and then you play that way. And United are capable of winning hundreds of games with attacks. United shouldn't be playing games on the counter. United should be attacking. That's always, since I've grown up, that's the United I've seen. West Brom shouldn't be thinking, man, we can nick a point here. That was never ever a thing when I was growing up. West Brom were like, are they going to ship 5 today or 7? That's what people thought when we were growing up. Now it's like West Brom like, oh, come on, man, we can nick a game here at Old Trafford.
I like how you said those days are gone. United aren't that club anymore.
Exactly.
It's the same. And if they get rid of Ollie, it's the same cycle again. A new manager comes in, rotate. 3 years. In 3 years' time, we're having the same conversation as is Pochettino, is Allegri, is Nagelsmann, is whoever. Are they the right man?
Yeah, but at least I would know. I would at least know. No, but the point is, I would know at least that United are attacking. They're playing attractive football. They're going for the wins. With Oli, I'm not sure what they're doing. It's like, let's wait and see. It's like he just has it today. So that's how it goes. So with Pochettino, at least okay, this is going to play attractive football. We may not win all the games, but we'll be fucking attractive to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Because yesterday was like a snooze fest, man. I mean, like, if I want to fall asleep, I'll just watch the replay of the game.
I mean, let's quickly after that
It's
indictment
true.
of
I mean, I
it's
know
it's
I'm
true.
being a
Like
little harsh, but come on,
no no
it's true.
I'm a United fan and I struggled to watch the game yesterday. Like, it was a ball fest. But yeah, I mean that's United. Let's quickly move on to the pick of the previews next week. Chelsea, Tottenham. Hanif, let's start with you. What do you sort of foresee with the game? What are you expecting?
I'm happy where Chelsea are at the moment. I think the team have got there a lot quicker than I thought they would. I'll give Frank a lot of credit. I didn't think he was capable to get this team to where they are at this moment in time. So I have to give Frank a lot of credit. I was wrong, and I say that after what I saw against Newcastle. I am wary of Kane and Son. I'm not going to deny it. I would keep Kante on Son, and that's what I would do. I'd man mark Son. I think he's the key. He's the one that's going to create that magical run, and then Harry Kane's obviously going to provide the pass. It all comes down to whether we can break them down. But we'll get chances. So I think it will be a tight game. I think it will be 2-1, and I'm going with 2-1 Chelsea. I think if we beat Spurs and burst their bubble, we've got the better team overall. However, that doesn't really make a difference when you're playing Mourinho. I know that better than anybody else. So yeah, but Mourinho could turn around and beat us 2-1 as well. So it's 50-50 going in, but I like our chances. If we got a fully fit squad, I really like our chances. I think we're more than capable of beating Spurs.
Saif, you've heard what Hanif says. What are you, as a Tottenham fan, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts going into the game?
I think Chelsea's got a good attack, but I think they'll get neutralized. I think Werner will be neutralized. I don't see Chelsea winning this one because Chelsea will come at us. And I know they've been playing well defensively recently, but those ghosts are still there. And people like Kane, Son, and I think Bale will also play. So I think Kane, Son, and Bale can take advantage of that. So I'm going to go with the Spurs win because we're going to win on the counter.
Do you not think that your wing backs are a problem, especially someone like with Chelsea now having very, very good wingers in Hakim Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson Odoi when he gets a game? Do you not think that to put pressure on people like Aurier would be?
No, I don't think so. I think Doherty will be back for that game, but I think Aurier was pretty good yesterday. And I think that with the wingers going up front, I think there's gonna be a lot of holes for us to exploit. And there's no one better than Son currently in world football who's gonna exploit those holes better than him. So yeah, I'm not worried about. I like teams when they come at us. I don't like the West Broms and the Burnleys, where they sit back with 2 blocks. We can't play those guys. It's very difficult. But these games are easy. Like I'm gonna predict another win for Spurs.
What score?
I'm gonna go for 3-1.
Hanif?
We'll see.
Come on, man, score prediction.
2-1. I think it's gonna be tight, but I think we've got way more quality. Way more quality. It's just their attack, and they defend like a team. So it just depends because Frank's got one over Mourinho already, and I don't see why he can't. I can't see why he can't do it again. And if Mourinho's only surprise could be if he plays Bale up top. I'd be surprised if he does that, but if he does do that, we could be in a bit of trouble. But I don't believe he will. So I believe Chelsea have got far more in the locker than Spurs have.
And just as we round up, I want to do our now weekly discussion point. And I want to talk about VAR. So we saw in the Villa game with Brighton, where people were going back and forth whether it was a penalty or not, saying just because he's got a touch on the ball doesn't mean you can't take out the man, and it's not a penalty. Again, well, as we discussed with the Manchester United, both cases with the Bruno tackle and the Barty handball. Hanif, as a qualified ref who works.
Don't forget about the City handball also.
Sorry, there's the Gabriel Jesus handball. Hanif, as someone not at that level, but who refs locally, why is VAR causing so much disruption, like so much anger between people? Why are people blaming VAR?
Because people need to accept the fact that VAR is new technology. How long's goal line technology been around for? Not long at all. It was always going to be a problem. It always was, because there's a lot of questions surrounding certain scenarios. There's some scenarios which I just think, the media is pushing most of the issues. They're pushing issues that are not issues. If a defender's made contact with the ball and then took the man, you can't argue. You can't. He's made contact with the ball. I'm sorry, regardless of whether he's taken that player out. Slow motion makes the tackles look worse than what they are. It's as simple as that. There's obviously some bad officiating. I can't deny that in terms of coming up to the right decision. But if you see this from this weekend, at least we're seeing the referees go to the monitor now a lot more. So it'll improve. It'll take time. It'll probably take. I always said it's going to take 3 to 5 years, and we're only in our second full season. And it's another talking point. Whenever there's talking points, it's always great for football. It might not be great for teams. Today it's affected a few clubs. Tomorrow it might affect my club. We just have to accept it. It's a part of the game. Majority of it, 90% of it's really good. It was good today for Leeds. That wouldn't have been seen without VAR. So there's pros and cons. We need more discussion between referees and players and what's acceptable in certain scenarios. When you're defending, where should your arms be? And then, if a defender makes contact with the ball and then makes contact with the man, because attackers are always going to look to dive, and I don't trust attackers that much anyway. And then it also depends on the severity of the challenge as well, because when you watch, especially corner kicks and free kicks going into the box, you'll see so many pushes. You saw one by Maguire yesterday on a West Brom player, and you thought, bloody hell. And as I said, you can deem that as a foul, but it would be a soft foul, and that's how I see it. But we will make that. I think David Coote needs to take some time off. They're human beings at the end of the day, and there is no definitive answer within football, because it is in the opinion of the referee, and even I get it wrong on the field of play when I don't see certain things, but you just shrug it off and you keep going. Yeah, the Jesus one was probably the most controversial, right? Because to me it looked like it touched both the bicep and his chest, but to me, I would call that handball. VAR, and I'll be honest with you, the pictures from Sky are awful. They couldn't zoom into it. They couldn't provide. I don't think they provided a good enough picture. They didn't even provide a good enough quality image of Pepe's headbutt. We saw it later after 10 minutes. Actually, he did headbutt him. You actually saw the motion. I didn't see the motion properly because we were zoomed out. So there needs to be better technology. There needs to be more patience and more acceptance, and we need more education.
Saif, from a fan point of view, how frustrating do you find VAR and the sort of inconsistent decisions with referees?
It's inconsistent, but to be fair, I think it's the same for all. I think things even themselves out. And there's still a lot of learning, and I'm not happy with it. I don't think it should have been there in the first place. But if it wasn't there, then we probably would have lost the quarterfinal to Manchester City. So it has its pros, it has its cons. I think it evens itself out in the end. So I mean, anything which makes the game a little more error-free is a good thing. Yeah, but there are lots of errors right now happening. But this is the teething process. So I'm okay with VAR, but I mean, it's still work in progress for me.
Do we need to see rule changes because of VAR, or
I think
other rules for?
former footballers need to be in the booth at VAR. I don't think it's the referees aren't great on the field either. So they're pretty bad at Stockley Park. So I think it'd be nice if there'd be players there, ex-players, or experts. I don't think the referees are doing a good enough job, either on the pitch or in VAR.
Hanif, what do you say to that? So, like in Formula One already, when the stewards have to make a decision, they have an ex-driver on the panel to talk from a driver's point of view. If an incident happens, do you think that's a good thing if an ex-football player is in the booth at Stockley Park, given the footballer's perspective?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I've always said we needed independent VAR, but as we saw this weekend, the officials are using the screen a lot more. So that gives me a lot of confidence that we're heading in the right direction. Would it help? Definitely. But it's the way IFAB has written the rules in terms of the handball rule. It's not great, but I just think they need to revert back to what they were doing last season. It's as simple as that. I accept the handball as to where it should be and stuff, but there should be, I think players should be able to understand that, the ref might get this wrong. So let's not concentrate too much on that, because when you do that, you lose concentration, you get wound up, it can lead to more errors around the game. But there just needs to be more education around handball. How do I look at it? 1, where's the arm? 2, what's the distance? 3, what's the position of the player? And that's how I make my decision whenever I think of handball. And obviously that's because of the level I'm at. Those guys at the top need to take that into account. But the way the rules are written now, they're making majority of them, I don't agree with it, but they are following the rules, and the rules need to be rewritten. The Premier League will force the referees to revert back to next season. But I've seen a lot of good this weekend, so yeah, I understand, but I think overall it's headed in the right direction.
On that note, gentlemen, as always, thank you very much for joining me this weekend. Saif, do you just want to quickly plug your socials before we sign out?
Just my Twitter at Syed Saif Hussain. It's a long handle. That's about it. Thanks for having me as always.
No, thank you very much. You're pretty much a regular panel guest now. You're pretty much a part of the show with us. So thank you as always for joining us. Big man, Hanif, as always, pleasure.
Cool, nice one, yeah. Can't wait to go again next week.
Me and Hanif will be back on Saturday on the radio. We'll be all back here next week. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All the social media handles will be in the bottom. But for now, from Saif, from Hanif, from myself, we're signing out. Everyone have a beautiful week, and we'll catch you all very soon. Peace.